Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ira Hussein and I am your guide on MAP testing. Today's video is all about the 11th grade MAP test, and we're going to be covering the main three topics: math, language usage, and reading. But before I get into this video, I'd just like to give you a quick reminder that if you want to take more practice tests on the MAP or a real MAP test, then click the link in my description. Anyway, let's get right into this video. Alright, let's start off with the math section. This section has 4 questions. Question number 1. Simplify 3x minus 2 times 4 minus x plus 5. A. 5x minus 3. B. X plus 13. C. 5x minus 8 plus 5. Or D. 5x plus 13. Take a minute to pause the video and figure out your answer. If you said A, 5x minus 3, you are correct. Okay, let's break this down. When we're simplifying, we always want to add like terms and distribute. So let's see. In this equation, I think the most logical thing to do is to distribute, because if there's a set of parentheses, we always want to try our best to distribute. It'll make things a lot more easier. So after distributing, we get 3x minus 8 plus 2x plus 5. Now we have to look around for like terms. As we can see, there's 3x and 2x and negative 8 and 5. So adding those together gives us our final answer of 5x minus 3. So it's pretty straightforward. All you have to do are the main two things: distribute and combine like terms, and that will get you to your final answer. Very quick and very easy. Alright, question number 2. If f of x is equal to 2x squared minus 3x plus 1, what is f negative 2? A. 15. B. 11. C. 7. Or D. Negative 5. Take a minute to pause the video and figure out your answer. If you said A. 15, you are correct. Alright, let's break this down. So if we're finding out f of x and it tells us that f of x is equal to negative 2, that means we replace negative 2 with x in the equation. So in the equation, instead of having it 2x squared, it'll be 2 negative 2 squared. So let's substitute it in, and it'll give us our equation of 2 negative 2 squared minus 3 times negative 2 plus 1. And if we, evaluate, we'll get 2 times 4 plus 6 plus 1. And then adding like terms, finishing up that equation, gets us our final answer of 15. Pretty straightforward. Alright, question number 3. A triangle has angles measuring 2x degrees, x plus 20 degrees, and 3x minus 40 degrees. What is the value of x? A. 30. B. 50. C. 60. Or D. 40. Take a minute to pause the video and figure out your answer. If you said B. 50, you are correct. Alright, let's break this down. This should be pretty straightforward. If we want to figure out, all the angle measurements and what x is equal to, we have to think of it this way. All the angles inside a triangle measure up to 180 degrees. So 2x plus x plus 20 plus 3x minus 40, all the angle measurements, has to get us to an answer of 180. So if we set up our equation like this and start to solve by adding like terms and, using inverse operations, it'll get us our final answer of x is equal to 50. So B is our answer. Pretty straightforward. Alright, last question for this section. Question number 4. A bag contains 5 red balls, 3 green balls, and 2 blue balls. What is the probability of randomly selecting a green ball? A. 1/3. B. 3/10. C. 3/5. Or D. 2/5. Take a minute to pause the video and figure out your answer. If you got B. 3/10, you are correct. Okay, so, let's work out this equation. Basically, it's asking us what's the probability of drawing green balls out of all the balls in our bag. So first let's find out how many balls are in the bag. There's 5 red balls, 3 green balls, and 2 blue balls. So adding those all together gets us 10. So there's 10 in total. And there's only 3 green. So 3 over 10, 3/10. Our probability of getting a green ball is 3/10. It's pretty easy. This should be pretty easy. You learned this in ninth grade. Actually, you learned probability in the 4th grade. So this should be pretty easy and pretty straightforward. All right, now we're done with the math. It's time to move on to the reading. The reading has a total of 3 questions. Question number 1. Despite the dark clouds, Anna insisted they continue hiking, believing the rain wouldn't last long. What can be inferred about Anna? A. She's cautious and careful. B. She's optimistic and persistent. C. She prefers indoor activities. Or D. She's unaware of the weather. Take a minute to pause the video and figure out your answer. If you said B, she's optimistic and persistent, you are correct. Now when it comes to the reading section, a strategy that works really well is cross-elimination. Just keep on crossing out the answers in the multiple choice that seem the least likely to be the answer. So let's go over the answers. So D, she's unaware of the weather. If we go back to our passage, it looks like Anna knows that there's dark clouds appearing, and she knows that the rain won't last long. So I think she's aware of how the weather will turn out. So D doesn't seem like a proper answer. All right, what about C? She prefers indoor activities. Let's think. In the passage, it says that Anna is hiking and that she insisted they continue hiking. I feel like if there was dark clouds or if there was rain and she didn't like outdoor activities and she preferred indoor activities, I feel like she would use the rain and the dark clouds as an excuse to get out of doing the outdoor activities, but instead she keeps persisting doing the activity. So I think C is also not a logical answer for this problem. Now let's go to B. She's optimistic and persistent. I think this is a really good answer because Anna insisted they continue hiking even though there were dark clouds, and she was like, the rain won't last long. I think she's being optimistic, thinking that they should keep on hiking, and she's persistent. She wants to keep going. So I think that's a pretty good answer. And A, she's cautious and careful. It's not that bad of an answer, but if she was careful, I feel like she would maybe bring out an umbrella or something, but over here it just says that she wants to keep going forward. So I feel like A is okay of an answer, but it's not the best. So after crossing out all the other options, it leaves us to our final answer of B. So doing this in the MIP for the reading, it really helps. It makes it so much easier to get it done with. All right, question number 2. Why would an author include historical facts in a narrative about climate change? A, to confuse the reader. B, to entertain with stories. C, to support their argument with evidence. Or D, to compare with science fiction. Take a minute to pause the video and figure out your answer. If you got C, you are correct. Like I showed you in question 1 of the reading, all you have to do is just cross-eliminate. And after doing that, you should probably end up with C. And also, if you did, if you write passages about stuff in English class, you'll probably come across, having to use evidence to support your answer. So C is a pretty easy answer to, end up with. All right, our last question for the reading, question number 3. In the sentence, the professor's explanation was so lucid that even the most complex ideas became easy to understand. What does lucid mean? A, confusing. B, clear. C, long. Or D, intelligent. Take a minute to pause the video and figure out your answer. If you said B, clear, you are correct. Again, cross-elimination, it should be pretty easy. You should end up with clear because in the passage, it talks about how, it's so much easier to understand what he's saying. So much easier to understand what he's saying clearly. You know, it all pans out. So for the reading, cross eliminate, it'll save your life. Alright, now we're moving on to the language usage section, and this section has 3 questions also. Alright, question number 1. Choose the sentence that is written correctly. A. After the meeting, we went to lunch. B. After the meeting, we went to lunch. C. After the meeting, we went to lunch. D. After the meeting, we went to lunch. Take a minute to pause the video and figure out your answer. If you said B. After the meeting, we went to lunch, you are correct. Guys, do I really have to explain this one? We always learn about commas and exclamation points and blah, blah, blah. And it should be pretty straightforward that a comma has to break up the sentence in the right spot. And in all these other options that we got for answers, the comma was not in the best spot. So honestly, read out all the options that you get for answers and read it and hear which one sounds the most correct. Because the language usage is the easiest section in the MAP. So just reading them all out makes it so much easier, and it should be pretty straightforward to do this. This should not be hard for 11th graders. So if you got this wrong, then I feel like you should, work on your language usage, because this should be common knowledge for all of you guys. Alright, question number 2. Choose the correct sentence. A. She was walking to school and finds a wallet. B. She walks to school and found a wallet. C. She walked to school and found a wallet. D. She had walked to school and found a wallet. Take a minute to pause the video and figure out your answer. If you said C. She walked to school and found a wallet, you are correct. After I read out all the options to you, I think the only one that made proper sense was C. So this should be pretty straightforward, guys. Do not fret on the language usage. It's super duper easy. Alright, last question of this video. Choose the correct use of commas. My favorite subjects are math, science, and history. B. My favorite subjects are math, science, and history. C. My favorite subjects are math, science, and history. D. My favorite subjects, are math, science, and history. Take a minute to pause the video and figure out your answer. If you said C, you are correct. C has commas after every single new list item added to the list. Math, science, and history. So, pretty easy. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope this was useful, and I hope you guys feel super duper ready for your 11th grade MAP test. If you want more videos like this, be sure to let me know in the comments. I love all of your ideas. And one more reminder, if you want to take more practice tests or a real MAP test, then click the link in my description and in the comments. Fully fledged, 10 out of 10, would recommend. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys have fun on your MAP. Bye!